It says I'm live now, so I guess you can see me. Trying to figure this out, man. Hello, I kept my promise and I gave you a heads up. I do read your comments, so I do know that I was doing a boo-boo of going live without a warning. So yeah, learned that now. Guys, I wanted to say a big thank you from the bottom of my heart for insisting that I get on YouTube. I haven't learned a whole lot on it, but it's a process and it's keeping me busy. I am loving it. I have to tell you, the amount of warmth and goodness and the way people write and express themselves, man. I have saved hearted, like every message that has come on YouTube. It's just such a beautiful platform to be able to connect on so many different levels. The idea is to give you guys a piece of me, to take from you the best of you, to get you to share that with me. As I learn, I promise to be more regular with it, but I just don't want to do anything for the sake of doing it. So I'll always do it because I really wanted to share something with you. Deal? Deal. Oh, I love all these comments coming. Listen, guys, I promised something to everybody who asked me questions. You know, I did this talkathon with Alisa and Renee, and all of you had sent me some amazing plethora of questions, and I just thought I'll answer some of them and then I'll put it on YouTube so that you guys can go back and check it there in case you missed this. See, I'm learning. Huh. So please, here we go. These are the questions that came on Instagram. This is V1 Shalin. The question is from V1 Shalin. He asks, if you could give out one message to the world and that they'd really listen to, that's an important part of the question, what would you tell them? Whoa. Okay then, V1 Shalin, beautiful question. The message is always love. It's always love. Because if you look at any calamity, any problem, anything that's going on in the world, and you brought it down to its source, it would always be the lack of love. And that love doesn't mean just love for someone else or a thing or a situation or nature or mankind, or just love for yourself. You know, it boils down to that. Love being alive, guys. It is a privilege denied to many. It is a magical thing in the world right now to have life, and of course it has its challenges. And it's affecting everyone in the world right now, the challenges that we're facing. But as long as jaan hai, to jahan hai. You know, I deeply believe that. Be patient with yourself. Be patient. Sabr is a very powerful thing. Without it, it's very easy to only look at the lacks in your life, you know, what you're lacking in, rather than the abundance, the other side of it. So love, patience, stillness. No instant gratifications. Like, I want this, and I want it now, it has to happen as I want it to happen. Shart nahi rakhna chahiye. I think that's the way I look at life, that you want something, you want it, okay? But it should happen through this person, in this situation, on this day, with this feeling. Itni sari conditions nahi rakhni chahiye. Let it happen. That's the magic, right? So that's answering your question. Moving on, we have Bajaj20 on Instagram again, asking a very beautiful question. She says, transforming yourself what all can one do? She's already got life coach, healing, and reading books on her list. Well, Twani, like everything else, I think transforming is about what innately has a seed inside of you. Outer things, outer elements can inspire you, sure, but you have to transform on a cellular level, something that is deeply rooted inside of you. Hence, the question you have to ask yourself is, what is it that you want to transform about yourself? And once you know the answer to that, and it should not be as big an idea as everything, because that's always going to defeat you in trying to achieve it. You got to keep it small. Your target has to be very, very specific. What is the one thing, small thing, not rocket science, small thing that you would like to transform about yourself? And do that every day without fail. So for example, when I won Miss Universe 26 years ago, this month actually, I will complete on the 21st of May 26 years of winning Miss Universe. I was 18, I didn't speak English properly, तो मैंने अपनी ज़्यादातर पढ़ाई हिंदी में की थी, हिंदी मीडियम स्कूल में गई थी मैं, केंद्रीय विद्यालय, और फिर जब तक मैंने अंग्रेज़ी सीखी तब तक मैं गुड 20-21 years old, तो मैं बहुत कम इंग्लिश बोलती थी. And when I went and saw people like Ted Turner and Jane Fonda speak at the United Nations, I was like, you know, दिल से दुआ निकलती है ना कि I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to be a captivating speaker, be able to articulate myself, and not always be in a situation where I say, I didn't mean that. मैं कुछ और कहने की कोशिश कर रही थी. How do you do that? But because that desire came on so deeply, I said, okay, I'm going to start with a word in English, जो मैं हमेशा से गलत बोलती थी, which was development, okay, developing. तो मैंने कहा ये सब थोड़ा अलग बोलता है, इस शब्द को तो मैं भी सीख जाती हूँ. I will practice that every single day. And so now I have to try and remember the wrong way, because the correct way is to say developing. That transformed the way that I wanted to be able to speak a language that everybody understood. Not just because it was the right way, but because it was a way that was easy for everyone to understand. So I started like that, small things that I wanted to do. And before you know it, well, not before you know it, but every day as you went by, it's been many years, 26 years to that day, the transformation happens. Again, no instant gratification. Recognizing your strengths and your weaknesses, and then taking it one day at a time, ever so slowly, with small things. Not big things, small things. I hope that helped. Okay, Vipul Bavalia, hi. Oh, he's deep, and he's right. We don't share our feelings for the fear of being judged. So true. Which mentally disturbs us many times. Too much fake all around. What should we do? Well, if you do believe too much fake all around, then Vipul, you gotta start by being real. You start by being real. And that means also recognizing that you don't always have to share your feelings with everyone. Hannah, some things are just for you and maybe a select few, which is not open to the idea of people liking and disliking and leaving it up for people to judge. It's my new favorite word that I'm teaching Alisa, sacrosanct. It is inside of you. It is very, very precious. Some things should be precious, and in the days of social media and putting everything on it, it's difficult to keep that sometimes. And we want to be liked for who we are, but then we want the like so much that we are okay to compromise on who we are. Don't compromise on who you are. Let people judge. It's a terrible thing to do. I am totally not for it. But take it from someone who's in the business of seeing a lot of judgments all the time. You can't change that. What you can do is be more accepting of yourself, you know, and know that you're like expressing yourself and sharing your feelings is a very powerful thing. उस पे वापस वो शर्त नहीं लगानी है कि किसी और को वो बात समझ में आएगी, कि उसको अच्छी लगेगी. যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে. What does that mean? That means in Bengali, if nobody heeds your call and comes to you, then you just walk alone. And you'll find that there is strength in that. There's tremendous strength in that. Again, take that first step and you'll see what I mean. It's magic. And when you do take that first step, Vipul, I'm going to be the first one applauding you for it. That takes courage. Be unique. Okay then, Kirtan 5. She asks, how do you define love? How to sustain love? Wow, that's a beautiful one. Huh? Love is not a feeling. And even if it is a feeling, for me, this is all for me, okay? It is what you're made of, as I was actually saying earlier. It's not separate from you. So many times you guys write a comment like, she is love. Bang on. As are you. You are made of it. I mean, it's not separate from you. And hence, how do you sustain it? Beautiful. Be more of it. Don't expect it from anyone. You be more of it. And if you can be more of love, you will sustain it naturally. I hope that answers your question. I love you, Kirtan 5. I love you. Okay, this is special because Taranjot Oberoi, Taranjot_Oberoi asked a very lovely question yesterday on Instagram. And I promised you, love, that I will elaborate on my next talkathon. So she watched the video with my daughter, Lisa, and she said about that question, you know, where the idea that if you don't cry and if you postpone your crying, don't you suppress your feelings? Isn't that unhealthy? And I told her that I'll elaborate on this. I gave you an answer, love. It's there for you and I know you saw it. But just to add to that, pain is a very powerful tool as well, much like fear and failure and all of those negative connotations, so to speak, words. How to utilize that well in your life is to understand what you're feeling before you express it, you know? Because pain, like a lot of other emotions, has a way of being very, very overwhelming. It wants to express itself right there and there, and then it just kind of comes out like one volcanic eruption, and then it dissipates. Did you take something from it? Or did that taking happen by default? That comes when you express your pain, giving it time to understand it first. That is what I was trying to explain. But since I was explaining that to my daughter who's 10 years old, I had to keep it very generic. But hopefully this never suppress your pain, love. It's not healthy at all. But just having an emotional breakdown, that's not the best way to express it either. I love you. Ciao, ciao. Karanjot. And finally, first, Natasha with the double T asks, what is the secret to your aura and energy? It's so calming to see you and hear you. Thank you. There really is no secret to it, Natasha, with the double T. I believe in an aura, and I acknowledge I am energy. So I think that just translates itself through, because these are things that I believe. So when I see you or you see me, when we speak, it transmits itself, you know? So thank you so much. That's really, it makes me very happy. You have to understand, it makes me very happy. More than a compliment and a loving statement. It tells me that everything I hope I work towards, I'm being able to achieve, because you see it, you feel it. I like. Thank you, Natasha. So that were my questions from Instagram, and now Roman here is passing me the questions from YouTube. Please bear with me, 3 more. Pooja Katuradia. Pooja Katuradia, hi. How do you move on in life when you don't get a closure from your past? From a person or a relationship for that matter. Okay. When you close your past, what happens? Anyone? The present unfolds. That's the only way you can be present. And the thing about the past is, you can't change anything about it. Hannah, you can't change anything about a moment that just went by. Why worry your pretty little head about it? Hannah? I know the question you're asking is of a different donation, but I wanted you to understand this so that I can now answer your question. You don't get a closure. You get a closure. You don't expect it from another. It's something you decide. You decide. And when you decide that this is done, you know, but I needed him to say it, but I needed her to acknowledge it, but I needed us to have a closure on this. Again, it's been my experience, and I speak only from my experience. You can't do that and put your life or your present on hold for the past to acknowledge something. You can't change it. You can't go back and wait there for an answer, for a closure. You have to decide you're in it or you're out of it. And if you decide that, the closure is done. You'll find that more and more often this would happen, that other people would participate in that closure with you if you decided not to make yourself stagnant and stop, if you just stepped forward. Big believer of moving forward. I'm sorry, but I keep repeating this because it's everything in that one step changes. It moves you from the past to the present, and eventually from the present to the future, right? So closure is something you give yourself. Don't expect it from anyone else. I believe. Okay, K space DG asks, what would you say about hopelessness? Jan Mary, okay, here, this one's for you, KDG. Anything lessness is no good. Okay, you put anything in front of it, any prefix, it's just no good. Because anything lessness will make you less of it. And the whole idea is to be more of something, right? More of everything. So whenever you find that you're putting anything less after hope, just remove the less. Keep it more, or just keep it hope. I was talking about law of attraction. It's true. The things that we think about and we feed so much, they multiply. We end up manifesting it because we keep on saying things like, these are reaffirmations. I teach my daughters this all the time. I reaffirm this to myself all the time, out of sheer habit, the habit of saying, I don't want to be hopeless. The fact that you're putting a don't there, the universe doesn't hear. It just hears the hopelessness. It gives you more of it. So if you just say, I want hope, it does the same job, but now you're sure that you've communicated the correct thing, right? So stay positive, no less, more. Kartiki Abhang asks, can you please make more of such tracks? She's talking about the Om Namah Shivaya track that we did, meditation track that I did, the reason why I got on YouTube. I would love to, darling. When I have another inspired moment, I'd be most delighted, because this is stuff that I just do because it is the highest form of vibrating energy from one person to another. And it's just been overwhelming. You guys, I love you so much. Those were all the questions. I've answered them. I'm trying to still figure out how to get to be one-on-one with you like this, where you can send me all your questions in one place, because I had to really look for these ones, like go through all the questions to find them. But I had excellent help. Want to say hi? He's saying no. Hey, look at this. You're looking very nice. Come here. Say hi.
Hi guys.
Now he's fixing his hair.
It's too bad. She was supposed to give me a haircut. She did not. So this
She's
is
lying.
my new look for time being.
This is a very good example of someone you should just watch. He's lying. I offered to give him a haircut and he said no. I'm
told
happy
her,
with
please
long
do
hair.
it for me. She did not do it. She's being vengeful, and the result is this.
Vengeful. See, lying again.
Okay, she's always right. She's the best.
Look at his hair. He's okay. I don't think he needs a haircut. And he's right. The very best. You remember, we're very high level of self-esteem.
Yeah, that's true.
I love you so much. Stay happy, stay blessed, stay inspired.